Doing great. How about you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just another night. This is gonna be my last night for politics, and then next week I'm doing religion.
Oh, cool, cool. What? I know you're talking politics today, but what's your position on religion?
I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in any religions because they haven't. None of them have shown their have basically shown the burden of proof yet. Basically, none of them have ever proved themselves. So if there's no evidence for something, then there's no reason to believe it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not an atheist. I'm more of an agnostic because I, I can't prove that a godlike entity doesn't exist, or if he might exist. I don't know. So I'm agnostic. Pretty
Yeah,
considered.
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there could be some sort of all-knowing creature out there that does exist. It's just that no one has actually shown that it does. So really, no reason to believe something like that. But all right, cool. Before we bore everyone, all right. So you said that you wanted to. We already talked about healthcare. You wanted to base something else?
Yeah, we can talk like about free college, living wage, maybe living wage. We can start with that. I disagree with or guarantee housing maybe. Yeah, guarantee housing. Let's go with that one because they want to following healthcare.
Yeah, sure. So guaranteed housing, I think we can do guaranteed housing pretty easily because like it's been shown with like some research that fixing homelessness in America would probably take about $20 billion per year, and we spend more than 5 times that on our military. So there's no reason why we couldn't allocate funds to solving our homeless problem.
$20 billion. And how many homeless people are there in the U.S.?
Last time I checked was somewhere around 300,000 to 400,000.
300,000 to 400,000. Okay, let's go with 400,000.
Okay, so
That's that's a budget of $50,000 per homeless person. I think that's really tight.
Right, but the thing is, when it comes to homelessness, right, it's not that you're just giving each person a certain amount of money. It's just that you're going to build a way to actually house them, and we actually have that already because we have millions of homes out there that are sitting completely empty for speculation. So that can be used, and we can also, like you said last time, change some zoning laws so we can put more low-income housing in certain places, or we can just build more shelters off of decaying or empty land or hotels that are out there that just don't work anymore. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily that you're just giving the money to the person; is that you're spending on things that will lessen the homeless amount.
I see your argument. It's just that I think the budget is a little too low. $50,000. I don't think it's enough to take someone out of the streets. Maybe temporarily for a few months or maybe 2 years if you're really creative with the money. But that's pretty much it.
Right. It's going to be $20 billion per year spent on housing the homeless, right? But one thing that has been shown when a homeless person like becomes like non-homeless, like they're able to actually have somewhere like stability over their head and a roof and everything like that. It actually helps them to with their like situation. You feel what I'm saying? Because homelessness is very very stressful. And homeless people are more like to be in the elements and have poor health, etc., etc. So
yeah,
in the long run, stay on me for me a bit, Clayton. So in the long run, like it actually saves us more because of all of the issues that it resolves before it gets worse. That makes sense, Juan?
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with what you're trying to achieve because like someone who's homeless, they usually don't have a job and they can't contribute.
No. See,
Hey, let
I
me finish.
knew we were headed this direction.
And if that
That's just
person
not true.
house,
That's not true. That's inaccurate about homeless people.
Oh, that one. Oh, that's why your voice sounds familiar. That one.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, Juan, you were saying that most homeless people, you're saying, do not work.
no. I say usually they don't have a job enough to get taxes from them. That's what I wanted to get to.
Incorrect. That's just not
Right,
true.
but yeah.
40% have a full-time job.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, there are a lot of people who are they're actually working homeless. As crazy as that sound, people who are homeless now are not actually working.
Okay, thank you for correcting me. But if we give them a house, okay, they can increase their productivity even without it working more because they can keep more of their money, they can consume more, which will create more jobs everywhere else, and it would boost the economy. So I agree with you. It is an investment to give them better standards of living. My concern is making sure to do that in a sound economic way. Like in the last conversation that we have, we kind of like agreed that having price rent control is not a good idea. In New York is pretty much destroying the entire housing market. So I want to make sure that you want to achieve this goal in a sound economic way. So what would be the proposal exactly? How would you achieve that?
How would I achieve that is that I would create an agency for specifically towards housing homeless people and allocate that $20 billion or the $30 billion that they studied in order to housing the homeless, either putting money more towards shelters, having federal shelters, building those up, more money towards basically like the houses that are sitting on speculation now. Getting those off the market and getting those to homeless people. You feel what I'm saying? Building
You would expropriate
more.
houses.
Say that again.
You would expropriate houses.
Yeah, I would. If the house is just sitting there, just on speculation, when we could actually house someone and get them better mental health and get them jobs, et cetera, that'll be way better in the long run instead of just one person just sitting on a house.
I think that will have long-term negative consequences. In the short term, it will be good because you take a house that is empty and you give it to someone in need, and that's absolutely amazing. I support that. But the long-term consequence is that as an investor, I wouldn't be incentivized to invest in housing.
I don't think he cares about the investors, so you're on deaf ears with that.
Yeah,
like the last person in his mind right now that he's like thinking about. He even mentioned like homeless people. Like I don't think he cares about people who have enough money to invest.
Yeah. I was actually I'm gonna say that. Everybody, give me a second, all right? It is like one at a time. I know y'all want to respond, but just let me know if you do. Yeah, I was gonna say that I really don't care about what the investor wants. This is more about human conditions. You see what I'm saying?
It's not about defending the investor. It's not poor investor, his feelings. It's not about that. What I mean is that if investors are not incentivized to build more housing, that has a negative effect on the consumer, aka all the people who want to get a house. And if you have fewer investors building houses, you have a lower supply of housing, meaning that prices go up. People get poorer in terms of housing. So I wouldn't solve the homeless crisis by expropriating houses. I would try to fix that issue by incentivizing investors to build more affordable housing.
But there's no incentive to do that.
Well, let's analyze why that is and fix those issues. For example, we can reduce the tax and regulatory burden on affordable housing.
But the thing is when we do that, they give you shit housing and housing that has lead in the paint. You know what I'm saying? So like every time we've what I'm saying is that every time we've lowered regulations for businesses, they automatically go for things that that are either a lot more dangerous or is going to make them more profit or like cut corners and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So if we do that with housing, I don't want to have a housing market where regulations are, it's here and there whether or not the roof is going to fall on your head. You see what I'm saying? So
I know I see your point, but it sounds counterintuitive. But the more regulation and price control you have, like for example in New York, if you go to affordable housing in New York, the buildings are awful, and you go to an average apartment for a lower income person. I don't know, for example, here where I live in Lawrence, in Kansas, and the apartments are beautiful. They're really big. The other day, my AC unit broke. In 3 days, it was fixed.
Yeah, if you had the same amount of people in Kansas that you did in New York, you wouldn't have that same luxury.
What was that? Can you repeat that?
If you had the same amount of people in Kansas, so you're talking about two completely separate like biomes, to where like you're comparing like empty Kansas, which isn't empty, but is basically empty compared to New York City.
Of course, population density plays a role, but for example, Singapore doesn't have these type of issues. Many other jurisdictions with high population density don't have these issues. Okay, so it's definitely a social economic issue and not only a matter of population density. Even though you are right, population density plays a role. So in
what up, Pax?
Okay.
Yeah, Juan, I'm gonna let you go on. I just wanted to say one thing. Well, actually, Chose had something that he wanted to respond
Can we?
to. Chose, what you were saying?
Can you let other people like get in here too? Yeah.
Yeah. Other people could get in it, but Chose, what is it you want to say?
A bunch of notes on it. One, the homeless and chronically homeless population is somewhere between 2 and 3.5 million. The number that you're talking about is closer to 700,000. In that they are always homeless, like perpetually homeless. And also, the problem isn't solved by helping the homeless. The problem is solved by having housing be a requirement in our society because it's a human right? Because the thing is we're all, even the wealthy of us, like some of us, are between a couple of paychecks and abject poverty. Right.
Also,
like,
you mean
your housing cannot be dictated, should not be dictated by a job. Same with healthcare and education; those things should not be dictated by location or job, because it makes it unethical and inequitable.
I agree with you.
Also, I got it. So remove housing from the commodity like altogether, essentially. Make it as essential as streets. Essentially, like everyone,
Right.
utility that everyone can use, and no one has to necessarily. Would you mean like come out of pocket for, or like how?
Also, the thing is, if everyone has housing available, then we can also adjust housing. Like you could move to Denver, and I could move to where you are, right? And it wouldn't change the economy or our own conditions, because housing would be provided where people live.
Wherever you go, there's always going to be housing. Like you don't have all you gotta do is like go to an office and say, hey, I just moved to the city. Can you give me some housing, and they'll get you somewhere.
Yeah, and I mean I don't think it necessarily has to be free, because I certainly think as a society we pay for it. But as an example, healthcare, education, and housing are all cheaper when they're universal.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I could agree with that.
Does that make sense? Like that, like we're looking at it from the wrong side of the numbers. Like instead of like going to try to cure someone who's already been disabled by the system,
It's okay.
right? We create systems that don't disable them.
Yeah, exactly. I could agree with that. Did you want to respond?
I just wanted to say that I agree with his point. I want to achieve the same goal. I'm concerned that we do it in an economic sound way, because it's a huge undertaking. And
How about you?
Yeah.
How about you? Don't.
Yeah. Call me Dante.
Dante.
So yeah, definitely there is. As much as I don't really care about investors that much, it would massively be a shock to the system that would result probably in like another Great Depression or something. Maybe it would be worth it if everyone had homes. Maybe it's worth having a Great Depression if everyone had homes. But there's just so much equity and so much now. Unfortunately, a lot of literally pensions and retirement accounts are tied up in the value of properties. And if you were to do that, property value would go down to like maybe a tenth of what it is right now.
Which is what we need. Because then,
if you want to bankrupt everyone's pension, I mean, but I don't know how you're going to get people to vote for
if
getting
their
rid of their
housing
pension.
and healthcare are covered, if these kinds of things are covered, they don't need those resources because their needs are being met.
Yeah, so I don't know how much you could sell that to someone, saying like basically, you're going to have no money, but you're not going to need money, basically.
I mean, man, I get what you're saying.
Now.
I get what you're saying, because like essentially like it sounds flawed, because all of our lifetimes we've always needed money, but but I do want you to think about that further though. Should we live in a world where money isn't necessary but all of our needs are still met?
Yeah, if we can get like cheap, once we really crack like fusion energy and stuff like that, once we can actually get energy like where it's basically free. Then you can start having these, like in Star Trek it's called like an infinite, I forget what it's called, but like no resource scarcity, that's it. So right now we live in,
you can add androids and AI into the equation, and boom.
Yeah, being post scarcity. I think we should be pushing to
post
be
scarcity.
post.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
post-scarcity, guys. That's the thing.
That's another theory. Yeah, that actually
Yeah,
we were already
It's not a
in
theory. We
post-scarcity.
definitely are. Like,
we are. We're just in artificial scarcity right now. We are.
Like
Yeah,
when
it
it
could
comes
be
to
artificial.
technological capacity, right? Like there might be reasons why we don't have it, absolutely, but those reasons aren't mechanical, right? Like those problems aren't material. Those problems are social.
Well, you're going to
Yeah,
run
the
into
Earth
an
is
issue with
real.
like global warming though too, because because even if we do get this free energy, this like post scarcity energy, like you run into like part of the warming actually isn't just our gases are trapping the heat. It's when you have that much energy, like we're all making heat, just having our computers on, and we're going to have all these like AI farms constant. Like right now, Bitcoin is still like the number one like energy compute thing on Earth, but like it's starting to like get eclipsed by AI, and AI is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. And honestly, the scariest thing is right now they need us to work. If
Wait,
we
so
can't
that's
if
an
we can't
example.
figure out
Yeah,
class
if-
consciousness in another 20 years, then they're not like we're not going to have any kind of leverage.
Yeah, because because right now, I've been reading predictions too about what AI could become in 2027, and if we're not careful, like it's gonna get to a point where how Dante said, it's not gonna need us anymore, So
Yeah.
we have to
Yeah,
to
we will
really
become
be
a
careful.
subspecies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right now
exactly.
we actually have all the leverage right now, and
It's
even with all the leverage, we can't even get what we want. So once we lose our leverage, we're not going to get anything.
But it's not
I
a
think that
bad
what's
thing,
gonna
right?
happen-
Like this idea that we are needed for the work is capitalist bullshit, right? Because this is the other thing, right? No job should be too difficult to do or pay too little to live. Period. Right? Like none of them. I don't care what the job is. It should pay enough.
Got you, Chose. Can you give me a few moments? Struggling libertarian. You said that none of these are good for society, correct?
Correct.
All right, cool. Yeah, give me one moment. Juan, Chose, and Dante, I appreciate you up here. I'm gonna drop y'all down for a little bit. Definitely come back up. In a bit. Let me just talk to struggling real quick, and I appreciate y'all. All right, struggling libertarian. Give me one moment. I gotta bring one thing up. All right, y'all. Keep liking it live and keep sharing it. I do appreciate everybody who's here. If you're watching me over on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, I appreciate you there. I don't talk to the comments, but keep the conversation going. I'm going to talk to Struggling Libertarian for about 15 minutes. Struggling, you did say that you disagree with what I have on the board. What do you disagree with and why?
I do, but I do have to amend my statement. I do agree with number 5.
Yeah, I actually thought you would. I was about to say he doesn't agree with anything else but number 5. I thought you would. All right, but okay, cool. Go ahead and start with whichever one that you want with and why you disagree that it's a good thing for society.
And possibly number 6, depending on what the solution is.
Sure.
Well, let's start with the number 1. Universal health care. I do not like government-controlled healthcare in any way, shape, or form.
When you say government control healthcare, what do you mean?
That's universal healthcare. Universal healthcare is government taking your money and controlling the healthcare system.
No, not necessarily. There are universal systems. Excuse me. In Asia and in Europe, where the bill is just sent to the government and everything else is decided by you. Why not just do that?
Yeah, and those approvals go through the government. The government sets the rules. The government sets everything. Look at you.
I mean, that happens now anyway, doesn't it?
Say again?
That happens now, doesn't it? Anyway.
Yeah, to a smaller degree, yeah. But having the government involved, it's just never a good idea.
I mean, I get the mistrust of the government because they've done terrible things, right? Especially to my community. But when it comes to just like how you said, making decisions and all that, the board of companies do that all the time. So what would be the difference between them and the government? With the government, there's just no profit motive, and with the board members of insurance companies, there's a profit motive. That's really the only difference.
Yeah, well, no, there's a lot of difference. The government's main motivation is control. Anything the government is powerful enough to provide for you, they're powerful enough to use to get you to do what they want. That's the motivation of government is control.
So the motivation of government is not to protect protect and provide for its citizen, is to control them.
Generally, throughout history, yes.
Can we say the same thing about anything else? Anything that has an authoritarian, like a hierarchical system, we could say about. Aren't all hierarchical systems necessarily about control?
Well, every single system is about control in one way, shape, or form. Yes, but yeah. So yeah, I don't trust anyone who spends $100 million to get a job that pays $186,000 a year.
Right. So that this should count for the insurance companies then.
No, the insurance companies don't pay $100 million to get a job that pays $186,000 a year. That doesn't make any sense. And by the way, before you get started on insurance companies, yes, I think our insurance in the United States can be improved. I just think that the universal healthcare system is going in the wrong direction. It's like giving yourself cancer to cure a cold. It's way worse.
But I don't see how it is. Every single country that has universal health care doesn't have all of the issues and problems that people say universal health care will happen. Like, the government deciding if grandma's gonna die or not. That doesn't happen over in like Switzerland or whatever. So why would it happen here?
It does happen. I mean, look up Charlie Gard, Alfie Evans, and Indy Gregory. The government, the NHS in the UK basically said, no, those children are going to die, and the parents can't do anything about it. They literally took the parents to court to make sure that those children died.
I'm fairly certain that that story is a lot more complicated than the government just decided that children are going to die for no reason.
But that's what happened. I mean, if you
wait, hold on. There was a child in the hospital, and the government came in and said, "Well, they're going to die." It's way more complicated than that.
Right, and it also is way more complicated because the government of Italy said, "Bring one of those children here. We will take care of them. We will do it." The government in the UK actually blocked them.
Okay, what actually happened? Because they didn't just go pick a random kid to die. What actually happened?
Well, the child was sick.
Okay.
The NHS said that there's no help for this child. They need to be on palliative care, and they're just going to stop feeding them, stop giving them water, and they're going to die.
Were they brain dead? They brain dead?
No, they just had a degenerative disease.
And they were going to be brain dead soon, or they just had a degenerative disease that was going to kill them in a few years?
Well, it was sooner than that, but yes. And so the government.
So they were going to die in 2 months. I got it. Oh, I'll look this up later. But the issue that I'm trying to bring up is like, yeah, I understand that happened in the NHS, right? I'll look it up later to see what actually the details were. But like the government, I'm pretty sure that that's a very rare case, which is why we're hearing about it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't think it's a normal thing for under universal healthcare systems. I don't think it's a normal thing for in our universal healthcare system, the government just picks a random kid to die because they have a degenerative disease. This is way more complicated than we're making it. It just doesn't like happen that way.
But the point is that the government prevented the parents from doing what the parents thought was best for the child, and used the NHS to.
Do parents always know best?
It doesn't matter. The government never knows best.
I think it does.
The government never knows.
The government never. Okay, so if the next time that a parent is touching their child, the government shouldn't arrest them because the government never knows best.
Yeah, let's take it to that extreme.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense, bro. That's what I'm saying. When you said the government never knows best, there are, of course, times where, yeah, the parent doesn't know everything and the government does know best.
Well, no, when it comes to the health care of a child, the government shouldn't be blocking parents from doing what they think is right with their children.
Okay, so when Christian scientists have babies that should get vaccinated against certain diseases, and those babies die of measles, we're just going to let the babies die of measles because the government doesn't know best. The government shouldn't be telling them to, hey, protect your children from having measles.
The government can put guidelines out there, but they should not force the children or force the parents to doing what they think is correct.
Even though it's saving lives.
And I'm saying that as an atheist.
Right. Even though it's saving lives.
even though it, even though the government thinks it's saving lives.
It is saving lives. Kids don't need to die of measles, bro. So force them to get these shots is gonna help them.
The government doesn't need to tell parents what to do with their kids.
In any circumstance.
Again, you're taking it to the extreme. We're talking about healthcare. Stay on topic.
I am staying on topic. So to any extreme, to any measure, the government should never tell their children the best way to handle their health care.
Pretty much, yes.
Right. So polio, sickle cell, what's the other thing? Smallpox. Like there should like the government had no idea what they were doing when that happened.
I didn't say that. I said the government doesn't have the right to tell the parent that they have to do it.
Even though the child has smallpox.
Well, if you've already got smallpox, the vaccine's not going to help.
Okay, like what if there's a danger of smallpox?
Again, the government doesn't have the right to tell the parent that they have to do something.
Yeah.
With their children,
I completely agree. I completely disagree. I think in certain times they should. There should be certain times, yeah, it does get that on that extreme, especially when like we have diseases like that going around.
And
I don't typically like it. Like I don't like the solution. But if we have like half of our society being stupid, then yeah, maybe that they should be forced to do that. Yeah, I don't like that it has to come down to that. I really don't. But yeah, if half of our society is doing something that foolish, then they don't have any right. It's kind of, I don't know. There are times where I'm not saying the government is always right, but there are times where the government is right. Like what happened during Jim Crow. It was the federal government that had to step in to stop Jim Crow because another government didn't get it right, right?
that has nothing to do with healthcare.
Bro, there are times where you're saying that the government never puts out any type of correct information on healthcare and shouldn't tell people that this is what you should do.
No, I'm saying that the government should never be involved in a parent's healthcare decision for their child. And you're trying to take it beyond that. And I'm saying that's my statement, and I'm not going to go beyond that.
I got that. That's your statement. But the reason why I'm going beyond that is because that leads to deaths.
That's gonna happen though. That's a part of like religion. Some people believe that that's the way God wants it to be. You can't interfere with people's religious beliefs. That's how it works. That's violating rights.
I got you, Andrew. Give me a second. But what I'm saying, struggling, is that what you're saying leads to deaths, and you're saying that the government should never get involved, even if the child is going to suffer and die.
When it comes to healthcare decisions, yes.
Yeah, I can't go for that, bro. We're never gonna agree. If a child is going to suffer and die, then yeah, some sort of authority should need to get involved to tell the parents what they're doing is wrong. Like that sounds ridiculous to me. What we like you want to live in that type of system?
I'm sorry, somebody else was saying something?
The host was saying that it's wrong, but my thing of it is how is it wrong?
Give me a second, hon. All right. Did you have anything else struggling?
Oh, I also don't agree with free college, living wage, reparations, workplace democracy, or guaranteed housing.
All right. Why shouldn't we have pick one of them?
All right, we'll go with number two. Number two on your list, guaranteed housing.
Yeah, sure. Why shouldn't we should guarantee that no one in society goes homeless?
Well, no, because guaranteed housing means that you're going to be forcing other people to pay for it.
We all pay for it.
Have to pay for somebody else to have a home.
Why should you pay for somebody else to drive on the road?
Again, you're trying to go off topic. Answer the question. Why should I have to pay for somebody else to have a home?
The same reason why you pay for everyone else to have a road. Because it's better for society.
Neither driving nor housing is a right.
Driving is a privilege, but being able to move around is... Driving is a privilege, but being able to move around is a right.
Correct. You can put on your LPCs and go wherever you want.
That's why we have roads.
Yeah, to walk wherever you want.
Yeah, exactly. So we should have homes so people don't go homeless.
Great. Why are you going to force other people to pay for it?
Yeah, we're all going to be paying for it. That's like how we all pay for the road.
I say no, thank you. If you want a home, you pay for it. I paid for my home.
Right. And you shouldn't have when it comes to this is what I'm saying. When it comes to guaranteed housing, that doesn't mean your homes are going to be free. It just means that if you're in the if you get down on your luck, God forbid you break your arm at work and you can't work for several months and you get behind on bills and then you're going to be about to be homeless. If it so happens that you're about to get evicted, you can go to a certain agency and they'll be able to find you housing until you're able to get back on your feet. That's what guaranteed housing is all about. That doesn't mean that your rent is all of a sudden free. It doesn't mean that.
Okay, but again, you're saying that somebody else is going to be footing the bill for this plan.
Yeah, everyone in America, we're all going to be putting into one big tax pool, and we'll use some of the money from that tax pool in order to do this for society.
All right,
so that means that if I'm going to go homeless, I'll be able to go to an agency and find homes. If you're going to go homeless, you'll be able to go to an agency and find homes. If Billy Bob from Podunk, Idaho, goes homeless, he'll be able to go to an agency and find a home. All of us can use it because we're all paying for it.
Then why don't you start that fund now? Why are you only interested in doing that if you get money from all of us to do it?
What are you talking about?
That, literally, just what I said. How come you're not starting that fund now for somebody else? How come you're only interested in it if everybody else pays for it?
Who says I'm not, bro? I'm part of an organization called Black Men Build in Orlando. This is exactly what we do.
Then why, if you're already doing it, why do you need my tax money to do it?
Because I want everyone across America to have it, not just the people I help out. Then
start talking about other chapters. Help people start other chapters to do this. I'm not saying...
Yeah, charity is not going to cover this, bro. Like we've already, society has already been through this. Charity never is never enough to fill a social safety net. Never. Private charities cannot fill the need of social safety nets. They never can.
Neither can government.
So how come other countries have that type of success then? Because we're too big? What's the reason?
Because we pay for their defense.
Because we pay for their defense.
100%. The only reason that Sweden, Norway, the United...
They don't contribute to NATO?
I'm sorry?
They don't contribute to NATO?
Not as much as they should. And they haven't for the past 50 years.
Yeah, all that has started. Well, first of all, like the guidelines for their contribution is not even a set merit. It's a goal essentially. And yeah, they don't always hit the goal, right? But they do contribute to their own defense.
They rarely ever hit their goal.
They don't give zero. They don't give zero, bro.
No, I didn't say they gave zero. I said they rarely ever hit their goal. Please don't put words in my mouth.
Right, but 2% is the goal. It's not the hard stop that they're supposed to be hitting, right? It's supposed to go up to 2%.
For some, yeah, but United States is paying 4 or 5%.
Yeah, because the
economy.
Right, because the United States wants to play world police, and we shouldn't.
But I'm telling you, the only reason they can afford to do these things that you're talking about is because they don't have to put that forward in their defense. They're relying on the United States to do it for them.
There are countries that we don't pay for their defense, and they still have it.
And who'd that be?
China, Taiwan, Vietnam, Japan.
We give money to Taiwan every year. We give money to Japan every year. Believe it or not, we give money to China every year.
Through trade?
No, I believe we actually have foreign aid to China.
We got no foreign aid to China.
Yeah, it was about $370 million in 2022. Was the last time I looked.
China is the second world superpower, right? They have the second biggest military on the planet, so we're not paying for their defense.
Correct, but we are paying them foreign aid.
We ain't paying their defense, and they still have what I have on the board. What are we talking about?
But either way, you keep bouncing around. We're talking about guaranteed housing.
You said, hold on, Dun. You said that the reason why other countries can have universal health care, guaranteed housing, is because we pay for their defense. There's a country out there There are several countries where we don't pay for their defense and they still have it.
Okay, but the countries.
So that means that we can do.
Hang on,
right?
Stay on topic. The countries that you talked about, when you talked about Sweden and Norway and UK, those companies all do. Correct?
Have universal health care and guarantee. Yeah, they do. But when you said that we're paying for
on the United States for their defense.
No, they do not. They rely on NATO for their defense.
The United States is NATO for all intents and purposes. The only person
we ain't NATO, bro. We're the biggest contributor. We're not NATO. We don't make decisions for NATO.
We are the only country that has ever met their requirements every year that NATO has existed.
That don't mean we run NATO, bro. That don't mean we run NATO. NATO was run by like a whole conglomerate of military people. America doesn't run NATO.
At no point did I ever say the United States ran NATO. You keep trying to change the subject.
You said the U.S. is NATO.
No, well, for all intents and purposes, we are.
We're not.
We are.
So we run NATO?
I didn't say we ran NATO.
So we're not NATO. You can't have both, bro. You can't have both.
I absolutely can.
No, you can't. You can't say that America is NATO, but we don't run it. That's stupid.
It's not stupid.
No, that's very, very stupid.
Not let me finish the sentence. So
no, that's very, very stupid. America can't be NATO and not run it. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, absolutely it can. If the United States left NATO, NATO would not exist.
Yeah, it would, bro. Yeah, it would.
No, it wouldn't.
They'll keep on going.
It would collapse.
No, it would not. It'll keep on going.
Fund it enough.
It'll keep pumping up, bro. It'll keep going. You know why? Because the weapons are still owned by that organization. The leadership are still within that organization. The countries still get money to the organization. The manufacturers who make all the weapons are still give the money to those organizations. If we left NATO, it will still exist. It won't exist with the same type of capacity. I'll give you that, but it'll still exist.
All right. So they would exist as what?
They'll exist as the military of Europe, I guess. I don't know what it'll exist as, but it'll still exist.
Which would be what? Equal to what?
Probably equal to either China or Russia.
And so you're saying that they would be equal to their greatest threat?
Pretty much.
Who is allied with China?
Yep.
So they wouldn't exist very long.
So you're saying that Russia and China would immediately invade Europe with no consequences for anyone else?
I didn't say immediately.
So they would exist for long then?
No, not very long.
They won't exist for very long, which means that if China and Russia decide to invade Europe, if America's not part of NATO anymore, Europe would then just collapse and there will be no consequences?
Well, Europe would collapse regardless. That's what Europe does. That's every time they get into a war, they collapse.
Yeah,
and they rely on us.
I could actually agree with that, yeah.
But either way, the only reason they can have these things that are on your screen that you want is because we are footing the bill for their defense.
That is way oversimplified, bro. Because America's the only country that spend this much on our own defense. Like these other countries are focused on other things because they don't spend all that time on military equipment and trying to play world police.
You just proved my point. Thank you.
But we're not footing the bill for their defense. That doesn't make any sense. They have their own defense market. We just don't. We spend.
They're not spending the money on defense because they're spending it on other things.
We spend. Yeah, they're spending on other things, which what we should do. Correct.
Well, it depends. Do you think China's a threat? Do you think Russia's a threat?
A threat to what?
Just answer the question. Do you think they are a threat?
To what?
To Europe. Do you think Russia is a threat to Europe?
Maybe, yeah. They keep invading Ukraine.
Then maybe they should spend more on their defense and less on what you have on the screen.
Why? Why can't I have both?
Because there's not enough money to do both. The United States doesn't even have enough money to do both.
How come China does it?
They don't. They're in debt.
No, China doesn't have reparations. But what I'm saying is,
In the war on drugs.
hey, Dun, be quiet for a second, okay? Thank you so much. All right, so be quiet for a second. Thank you very much. Do not get off mic again. All right, so when it comes to, I'm sorry, I forgot your question. Say that again.
All right, all right. What is the United States' biggest expense every year?
Military.
Not true.
What, health?
Nope.
Military is $1 trillion a year. You're saying that that's not the biggest expense?
It is not.
What is it?
Servicing our national debt. We pay more to pay on our debt, to service our debt, not pay it off, but to service it than we do on anything else.
Okay.
And you're saying you want all the things you have on the screen on top of what we already do. We don't have the money.
Yeah, sure, we do have the money. We're just not allocating it to the places that we should be allocating it to.
It doesn't exist. The amount of money you want to do what you want on this screen doesn't exist.
All right, so you're saying that we don't have money to end the war on drugs.
I've already said that we should end the war on drugs.
Okay, so we don't have money to.
And possibly
we don't have.
right?
Yeah, we don't have money to abolish the prison industry.
I already said, and number 6, 5 and 6.
All right,
you
cool.
And I agree on, right?
Yeah, so we have the money for abortion rights as well, right?
It doesn't matter. Abortion violates the non-aggression principle, and as a libertarian, I can't support it.
All right, cool. But I'll ask if we spend money on it or not. We don't spend any money on abortion rights, do we?
No.
All right, cool. So we could do 4 or 5. We could do 4, 5, and 6. All right. So number 3, workplace democracy.
We shouldn't do number 4. We should do 5 and 6.
All right. So we shouldn't have any abortion rights, but we don't spend any money on something that we don't have. Okay. That. All right. Well, we could do 4, 5, and 6 because we're not spending any money. All right. So when it comes to workplace democracy, why can't we do workplace democracy?
Why can't we do workplace democracy? Because the people that own the company get to make the decisions, right?
Cool. So that means that the workers should own what they work in, right?
Nope.
Why not?
You because you get paid to perform a service, and when you perform that service, that paycheck is your compensation.
Right. We all understand that, but that doesn't really answer the question.
It does answer the question because that's
not really.
On that a little bit.
Hold on, Jalal. Give me a second. All right, Strickland, we're about to come up on probably like 20 minutes now. You have anything else? All right, the reason why I think we should have workplace democracy is because these companies are usually not owned by one sole person, right? Like it's not just like your grandma's diner where she hires 7 people. Right, so like in a situation like that, it's probably not going to be a lot of workplace democracy. There's going to be a lot of hierarchical situations. But if you have a company like General Motors or J.P. Morgan Chase, where there's like 7,000, 10,000, 20,000 employees, then there's more cogs in the machine, right? Right. So now there's more cogs in the machine, right? Why shouldn't those people have a say in how the department is run?
No, they don't get to have any. If you work there, if you're not in a management position, sorry, you don't get that choice. You don't get to say how I do things. You don't get to say, I want to say I get to do my job only 3 days a week. I'm only going to work 4 hours a week for my full salary. No, we're not doing that. You get paid for what you're asked to do.
But who says that? Who says that people are going to do that though? Like you're really assuming the worst of people. How people won't say okay, we're gonna be working 10-hour days, but only 4 days a week. How you know they're not gonna do that?
Doesn't matter if the employer doesn't give them the choice to do that. It doesn't matter.
Right, I understand that if it matters or not. My question about workplace democracy is why would it be bad for the employees who actually work in what they're doing to have some sort of autonomy within their work to decide how things are run? Why shouldn't they have that?
Because they don't own the company. They have no authority. They have no risk involved.
Barely anyone owns companies anymore, especially if they're like 25,000 strong.
Yeah, there's a corporation, there's a board of directors, there are shareholders that own that company.
Right. Okay. Great. So that means under this system of workplace democracy, there would be the workers will actually be the shareholders. Why is that a bad thing?
If they pay into it, they can absolutely do that now. All they got to do is buy those shares.
All right, great. So that means that we can have workplace democracy.
Absolutely. You've got to buy into it, though, and you've got to vote as a shareholder, not as an employee.
How about we can actually do both? You can have shareholders, and you can have unions within within the company that speak for the workers.
No.
Why shouldn't unions have a place to speak for the workers? Why should that exist?
Unions have collective bargaining agreement authority,
Yes.
but that's it.
Yes, they have collective bargaining, so they shouldn't have any say on how things are ran.
For the most part, no. There are limited exceptions to that, but no.
All right, great. So if a company says that it's more profitable to put a data center near this black community and it's going to poison the water, the workers should have no say in what happens.
All right, I'm just trying to unravel that. Data centers don't poison communities. That's just weird.
Grok is in Memphis, Tennessee right now. They're poisoning the water over there.
Who?
Grok. Elon Musk AI machine.
And it's poisoning the community. How?
Yep. Because these data centers take a lot of heat to run, right? So you need a lot of water. So they use that water from the community in order to cool down their machines, and that waste from there goes back into the water of the community.
Gee, if only there was a large flowing body of water anywhere near Memphis that could completely disprove everything you just said. Oh yeah, that's right. It's the Mississippi River.
Mm-hmm.
Goes right in between Memphis and West Memphis.
Yep.
It's literally the largest river in North America.
Yep.
Why would they be taking water away from the community and then putting it back in the community? And by the way, heat doesn't cause pollution.
Because they don't give a shit.
Heat doesn't cause pollution.
I didn't say it does.
What else are they putting in the water that's causing the pollution?
I didn't say heat causes pollution.
You said they generate a lot of heat and they use a lot of water. Therefore,
they use generate a lot of heat to put in their water, but there is something called wastewater, right? We're at about 30 minutes, bro. So we're gonna have to either we're either gonna have to move along, or you have a last thing to say.
I understand. We'll agree on number 5 and number 6, but the rest of it, I completely disagree with.
All right, cool.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. All right, y'all. Keep liking the live and keep sharing it. I do apologize. That one did take very, very long. Do apologize for that, but I do appreciate you all being here. If you're watching me on YouTube or TikTok or Twitch, I do appreciate you for being here. And I appreciate all the support. All right, who's next? Milkbone?
Hey, what's good, bro? I've been on your panel before, and I didn't get to say this last time. I mean, I generally agree with you, but when it comes to number 9, how do you think we should go about? How would you say we should go about reparations? I, for example, I'm an African immigrant. I've spent most of my life at this point in the U.S. I don't think that I'm due for reparations from the U.S. government. So how will we go about making sure that, like, specifically descendants of slaves are the ones who are getting sort of reparations?
Well, we have a way to do that already, right? We have records. Like for example, I'm pretty sure there's a record of when your parents came into this country, just like there's a record of when my parents came into this country. So all that, in my opinion, already kind of exists. The only thing that you would have to see is to see if there's records that go back to 1619 when African American history first started, and I'm pretty sure there's a way to do that. There's plenty of documents there. So that's how you make that to make sure that goes to the African American community. The second thing that you could do is target like red line areas in particular. Like, for example, I've always said that schools in red line areas shouldn't be funded by property taxes, but be funded in another way. And those schools in particular should have programs where every student graduates with some sort of trade. So if every student graduates with a trade, these kids will go out into the workforce instead of being lost after high school or trying to go off into college that they don't need to go into. And that right there would bring money back into the community as well. So not just like a monetary thing, but systemic changes as well. And I think systemic changes will not only benefit African Americans, but benefit everybody, because the criminal justice system doesn't only go after poor African Americans; they go after poor people. Period. Because the criminal justice system is just a way to keep slavery alive, essentially. So, poor whites, poor Hispanics, poor Asians, they're all affected by the criminal justice system as well if they don't have the money to get into a better spot. All that makes sense?
Absolutely, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I pretty much think if we have everything else that you have, number 1 to 8, then we'll definitely have number 9 in place. Because I think everything else you're advocating for, those are the social changes that we need to. If folks don't want to, hand out actual cash, just having those systematic changes in place would lead to be a lot of corrective, beneficial change. Not gonna take up any more time, but I love your lives, man.
All right. Appreciate you, McBoom. You have a good one, all right?
Hey, hey, Valsi.
What's up, Michaela? How's it going?
I'm good. Remember to my discount because I don't be coming in on this account often.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. All right.
I was gonna respond to him. Actually.
Okay, yeah, he already left.
Was it Donald speaking?
No, it wasn't Dun. It was someone else. But yeah, he already dropped.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good though. All right, so Dun, are you over 18? And I know you disagree with something I have on the board, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm over 18.
What did you disagree with and why?
I mean, everything. I don't understand what society you're saying that this is good for.
Okay. Universal health care would be good for all of society because people would be healthier.
Society?
People will be healthier and be able to our society, American society, Western society.
You have a Haitian flag in your bio.
And what is your point?
America
what does that
is
have to
not.
do anything?
Excuse me. I'm trying to talk to him. America is not Haiti.
So?
Okay, so how are you saying what should be best for society?
Because I live and grow in America. Duh.
But you're not an American.
I think my passport says differently.
A passport is a piece of paper.
So?
That YT people wrote down.
Yeah, so Dun. I don't know if you notice about this, but according to the Constitution, if you are born in America,
So you believe
you're
in
an
the
American.
Constitution?
Dun, if you are born in America,
So you believe in the Constitution?
Dun, if you are born in America, you're an American. So I was born in the United States. I was born in the United States. I was born in the United States, which makes me American, right?
No.
Yes, I was born in the United States. 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 That makes me an American, correct?
The Constitution?
All righty.
Okay, do you believe how?
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and move on, guys. I don't have no time for idiots.
Imagine not knowing how imagine not knowing how the law works. Like, you gotta mod me very soon, because I can't.
Oh, my goodness.
Imagine not knowing how the law works. You have a Haitian flag in your bio. First of all, because you're ethnically Haitian. That has nothing to do with your nationality.
Nothing. Nothing to do with
your
nationality.
Your parents are from Haiti. You have an American nationality, and your ethnicity is Haitian.
Yeah, exactly. So it's this is not hard, guys. Not hard. All right, Phantasma, how's it going? Phantasma, are you over 18, and do you disagree with anything I have on the board?
Yeah, I'm over 18, and I didn't really have anything I agree with, so I'm going to be brief. I just wanted to offer a rebuttal to the libertarian dude that was up here who was, saying, why should we pay for other people's stuff? And I'd like to point out that anybody that thinks like that, if somebody's working and they're paying taxes or they're in a position where they're looking for work, the idea that you as an individual are paying for everybody else's stuff isn't, it doesn't reflect the reality that, like, if I'm working and I'm paying taxes and I might have to use this benefit, then I'm paying for my own benefit. And so please just, keep that in mind when you guys try and argue against, I don't want to pay for other people. 9 times out of 10, in a universal healthcare system or any sort of these universal benefits, people are paying for their own benefit through the taxes that they're paying to the government through their work.
And you know what's funny about that, Phantasma, is like it's like people don't understand how insurance works. When you have private insurance, you're not paying money into a little piggy bank for your claims. You're paying into an entire pool, meaning that your money goes to other people already. Like that's the way we do it. We're just shifting the administrator from a private company to a government run one. That's that basically be it.
That's literally it. So the idea that these people aren't paying for themselves. 9 times out of 10, it's literally a benefit that somebody's going to be able to use, and they've paid for well over.
And I think it would be a major benefit to society. Like, why shouldn't we have the option to, to have Here's the thing: healthcare is a human right. Like. No one should have to worry about going to the doctor or being able to go to the ER. Like that shouldn't be something you have to worry about.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know how that's arguable.
But yeah, thank you for having me up here. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, Phantasma. I appreciate you as well. All right, y'all. Quick commercial break. Keep liking the live. Keep sharing it. I only have 2.8K likes. I guess because it's Saturday, everybody chilling with their peoples. Go ahead and like this live up. Go ahead and share it. Let's try to get me to 5K. And before I gotta go ahead and get out of here, I will appreciate that very much. The person who just requested, I think your name was Star. Go ahead and request again. All right. All right. We're gonna go ahead and go ahead, Michaela.
By the way, I can't see because now I can see that I can mute and block people. I can't see the request though. That's weird. I can't see the request.
Can't see the request. All right, I might change that in a bit, but we'll take a look. Donald, are you there?
I'm here.
All righty, sir. Are you over 18, and do you disagree with what I have on the board?
Some of the things, yes.
All right, cool. Go ahead and tell me what you disagree with, and we'll talk, I'll say, for about 15 minutes.
Okay, I've got, I'm against universal health care, guaranteed housing. I'm not exactly sure what workplace democracy is, abortion rights. I'm for end all the war on drugs. I don't know what you're against. Well, actually, I understand the prison industry. The free college, I really have a problem with that, and living wage reparations. The free college, to me, would basically turn the college into the 13th, 14th, and 15th, 16th grades. It would just be basically public education. It wouldn't. There would be no. If you make it universal, you remove the value of it.
Okay, cool. All right, so your universal health care. From what I'm seeing, that America can't afford to do it, and we could probably do it better than other countries if we put our mind to it, and we just haven't yet. And not only that, we're already paying for it. We even have the infrastructure set up for it, and we're just not doing it. Universal health care, I see the way that we not only have a way to do it, but I think that we should do it because no one should be worried about how they're going to pay their hospital bills. If we live in a society where the number one reason for bankruptcy is basically medical bills, and I don't think we should live in a type of society. I think we should all live in a type of society where things like that are not a worry, and I think it will cause a healthier society because being able to afford to see your doctor, see your dentist, see your therapist. Would encourage more people to actually do those things and will have preventative health care.
Well, I
hold on. Tom, come up on the stage if his talking points are idiotic. Don't be a keyboard gangster. Go ahead, Donna. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No, it's just universal health care works great in smaller countries. It really does. And when they have a tremendous tax base or they don't have to pay for their own self-defense. But universal health care here would be so extremely expensive. I just now became I just recently got my a disability rating from the VA, and the VA is not the best thing in the world, and I have a fear of us, the U.S. coming into a universal health care system, and it's the problem is the bureaucracy.
Mm-hmm.
It's intended to protect itself almost, if that makes sense.
I got you. Let me ask this question. I'm not sure if you're still working or not, but we all pay into
No, I'm
Medicare,
not.
right? Okay. But when you were working, you were paying into Medicare, right?
I was, and because I retired early, I'm not eligible for Medicare.
At least not yet.
Not yet, till 65.
65.
Yeah.
What do you think if we went ahead, like tomorrow, right? By some miracle, they said that you can go ahead and access your Medicare now. Are we good with that?
I would. I mean, I worked 40 plus years of my life. Yeah, I would be. I would be fine with that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Now, why don't we just do that for everybody? The moment that you start working, you're an 18-year-old kid working at Burger King. You're paying into Medicare. You can access it. That'll be better, right?
Well, if you can make the math work, I don't see why it wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's when I say universal health care. That's exactly what I want to do.
I mean, if it's we're 35 $trillion in debt. We have to make figure a way how to make the math work, and that's the problem. That, to me, that's the problem.
Yeah,
we're so. Yeah, we may be the most wealthiest wealthiest country on the planet, but we're the most indebted country on the planet.
Yeah,
how do you make that work?
I understand that, right? But like the math does work when you just open up Medicare and Medicaid for all, right? Because like studies into this, like research into this say that
you're talking government ran, right? I mean, or government guaranteed health care, and here we are, we're $36 trillion in debt, and how do we make this math work?
Be willing to call the young and the old.
Right. So
those who are unuseful and those who are too old. Sorry.
Oh, I'm still quite useful. Come to my house and work with me tomorrow.
All righty. I'm just gonna start dropping you if you interrupt. All right, Jim, go ahead and take a lap and request again.
Rules of engagement, if I or any mod or falsely interject or mute, because I muted him, stay muted until you're told to come off mute.
Right.
Don't interrupt me or any mod or falsely, the host.
Appreciate that, Michaela. All right, Donald. Here's what I would say, right? When they actually did do the research into it, is they found out that if we had a Medicare for all system, it would actually save on our debt. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's cheaper than what we're actually doing now. It's just a public option where someone can opt into using that system, and you can still have the private option up on the other side as well. Now, there are going to be a lot more people going into the public option because of basically for affordability, right? But I think that will cause the cost of private health insurance to go down, and they would negotiate better prices for medicines as well.
Well, I'm sorry. That if that were to work, that would be great. I'm fearful of the government getting into anything. You can look at it like college tuitions. When the government starts guaranteeing tuition, the tuition's just skyrocketed. So I'm fearful that if the government were to get involved into healthcare costs would just skyrocket because those caregivers would know that they have a guaranteed. It would be a cash cow. It's my thinking behind it. I want to thank you. I appreciate you having me up. I'm going to drop. I appreciate. You don't know how much I appreciate the civil conversation. It was great.
Thank you for coming up, Donald.
Thank you all for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Of course.
Yeah. Appreciate you. All right, y'all. All right, Tom, we're going to get to you in a second, all right? Because Laura was waiting.
And keep it cute. I just have a feeling Tom was going to try it. So let me just,
Bull was waiting. All right, y'all. Keep liking the live and keep sharing it. Again, I appreciate you all being here. If you're watching me over on YouTube, I appreciate you. Twitch, I appreciate you as well. And on Facebook as well. You guys are amazing. You guys are wonderful. Keep liking the live and keep sharing. We're gonna go ahead and keep it trucking. Let's try to get to 7K likes within the next 10 minutes before I go ahead and get on out of here. All right, Singer. Singer, are you over 18?
Oh, do you want to go to Singer first?
Yeah, Singer first because he was before
Okay.
Tom. All right,
yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, all right, Singer, are you over 18 and do you disagree with anything I have on the board?
No.
Yes, I'm over 18. I don't disagree with them. So I don't want to use that on my phrasing of what I think. I actually think that these are necessities that specifically black people or BLK people, or really people of color will benefit from. However, I don't know the realism of it, my friend, only because of how our governmental system is run. I am under the impression that we should actually take from specifically countries like Germany and Switzerland and see what methodologies they use as far as healthcare and benefits for the people, while still keeping capitalism alive, because I do believe in capitalism. I think that it warrants a lot of agency and benefit to what people can earn as far as the fruits of their labor and protecting what they have worked their lives for. So I think capitalism has its value, and I don't agree if this is under the umbrella of communism, because I think the American people value their agency as well as their freedoms and liberties in protecting their property. However, I don't think that everyone has the same access to the privileges that white people have, to be honest.
Right,
so
gotcha.
when it comes to, I'm sorry, that's a long-winded answer, but as far as universal health care, I think that it's a necessity, but I don't know if it's possible, only because of how our checks and balance system and our Congress is run, and how basically if you have some people who believe how you and I may think, there's always going to be someone who is going to make it difficult for that law to be passed. And I think that's due to how our government is run.
Definitely. I agree with that. That a lot of it has to do with our government is run right now. One of the fears that people have of like socialism and communism stuff like that is because of exactly what you said. They think that it completely takes away agency, right? But like if you actually research into like what communism is supposed to be, is basically a stateless, moneyless society where all resources are owned in common. That doesn't mean that you can't do exactly what you want. It just means that the resources you don't personally own or profit from them, right? So it's not hold on. Hold your turn yet. All right, you're gonna be after Tom. All right, so that's the basic idea.
What do I need to get a job if I'm guaranteed a house?
All right, Brandon, don't come off mute again, or we'll drop you. All right, so when it comes. So when it comes to communism, right? Like that's what's really what the. All right. Appreciate you being here, Brandon. All right, so Singer. So that's
and just because of that, I'm gonna mute you for the entire live, actually, because I'm gonna show y'all. I don't play those games.
Exactly. So does all that make sense, Singer? Like the ideology behind communism is basically to not have a state anymore, not have governance anymore, to actually give people more agency. At least that's the idea behind it.
Well, the thing is, the only caveat that I have in it, and the reason why I favor capitalism, is because if I work, X amount of hours, or I work more laborious means, or I work for something that may save lives, then I believe I should be compensated than someone who picks up my garbage, or someone who, has to clean the gutters every day. That's the problem that I think a lot of American people have. But we're talking about communism, and I think that's where a lot of what I'm noticing, a lot of YT people are getting behind, which I don't know if you're advocating for communism, but I just wanted to bring that up in my point of, I think that capitalism could still be actually a thing with these things that you mentioned here. But I do think, if I could finish what I was saying to you, the universal health care, I think is unrealistic due to our government system. Guaranteed housing is unrealistic because you have people who may be strung out on substances and may not be able to afford housing, and to, keep those those things there. I keep seeing reparations in the comments, and I want to say something about reparations. I think reparations are important, and when you look at Germany and what they've done for Holocaust survivors, there have been ways that can be done. I think the problem is, to all the people that want to comment about reparations, I think that is something that I think the BLK community does deserve and has been going through scrutiny at racism and just bigotry for many, decades now, where it would be, I think,
centuries, really,
right, to give reparations to people who have been suffering. I'm an educated BLK man, and I work hard for my money, and I am out here being a moderate for, I think, all people in those ways. But I will say, what's right is what's right. And as far as reparations is concerned, there are people like myself who have descended from slaves and have fought more than others to just get to where I am now, and I'm still fighting. However, I think the problem is, to be a realist again, is that you cannot prove, in a way, how every person who is from a BLK descendant is from slavery. There are people who are immigrants who are born from. There are people who might have come from.
Actually, it's not hard. It's not necessarily.
Okay, let me just finish and I'll get your point. Let me just finish your point. And I'll clarify why I think it could be hard. I think it could be hard because if you have people who have interracial marriage or they have immigration, it is a little bit harder, I think, to prove the lineage as more lineages are produced. So and
I don't not necessarily.
Okay, and
I'm gonna push back against that.
Okay, and I just want to finish
because
and
there is a way.
And I want to say, during those times, they erased a lot of our history and erased a lot of our background in ways to figure out where we come from. So I do believe it is harder for the average person to find their ancestry because of the atrocities that happened during those times. So I would say that it's hard.
All right, let's see.
I wouldn't necessarily say to back towards a certain point it wouldn't be difficult, but I'm like, so after the Civil War, let's say 1870, people whose ancestors were in this country 1870, that would not be difficult for many African Americans. Many can trace back that far. If you have enough names of your family members, you can trace back that far. I will say this, when we're talking about reparations, slavery is a part of it, but it's not just slavery. We're also talking about Jim Crow. We're talking about redlining. We're talking about black codes. We're talking about, ironically, it's on the board, the war on drugs.
Okay.
Okay. And we could talk about dismantling Black Wall Street.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
And many thriving Black communities. So it is not just slavery; it's also everything that happened after that. That the United States did to destabilize specifically Black Americans.
I hear that. That's real. I hear that. When you clarify that, that makes a lot of sense. But I do think I just don't think that you guys can say that it's easy for every African American to find their ancestry from that point because it's been erased and it's been dismantled and it's been even morphed into something that's untraceable now. So it's hard for you to make that claim for everybody.
Hey, Singh, I have a few things.
That's
I'm sorry.
not necessarily true.
Well, I have a few things. Let me just
get this.
Gotcha.
Because before the 1860s, right, like after post-Civil War, it would be difficult because Black Americans were considered 3/5 of humans. We were considered property. But after the Civil War, Black Americans are listed on the census. So using the census, tracing back to 1870, if you know the names of your ancestors, you absolutely can trace back that far.
Sure, man.
It is possible.
Do you know that due to social media and due to just how I think a lot of misinformation has affected the Black community, there's a lot of lack of trust of Black people willing to do that, and a lot of Black people not willing to submit their information on the census, because of how their government has corrupted our bodies and our minds. So that's like, I think that's a big issue. And I think that, like, you know, that, 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 it's not going to be
I'm not
equitable.
doubting
It's
that
not going to be
fact.
equitable for every person. Not every black person has had the same trauma.
Hey, Singer,
I don't think that's unrealistic and unreasonable. But I will say, like, that's why I'm saying, like, the census. Like most black people, like if you list, like if you go back far enough, like after post Civil War, they are listed on the census. Now, what we're talking about, how Black Americans individually may currently feel, that's a whole different conversation. But Black Americans are absolutely listed on the census post 1960, post the Civil War. Okay, let's just put it that way. And so it would be possible.
I just gotta add a few things. First of all, for people just yapping in the comments, I don't speak to the comments, so yeah, I might as well just request up, all right? Especially you, JS, it's annoying as shit. But here's what I was gonna say, Singer, because we have to go all the way back to what you were saying about compensation under a certain system, right? When we're talking about like communism, because remember I said before, communism is about not having like a society with currency that exists. So when you say that you're a doctor, you work very hard, you should be compensated more than the janitor or whatever. Like I know intuitively we don't have an issue with that, but like if money doesn't exist, where you're still gonna have the same house you go to, still gonna have access to food and the type of lifestyle that you want, are you going to be really going to be caring about you getting compensated more than the janitor who cleans? Would you really care about that if all your needs are met? You see what I'm saying? That's the idea behind communism. Now I know the rebuttal is that can you actually get to a moneyless society? Can you actually get to a society where there are no classes? Can you actually get to that society? That's a pertinent question. But like the idea that you're going to be getting paid the same amount, there is no money, so there is no being paid. Does that make sense?
That does make sense, but that wouldn't have actually been my rebuttal, my friend. My rebuttal would have been who respectfully, like, who the heck are you to tell me how I want to use my money? So if I make a certain amount and my needs are met, I might want a goddamn Lamborghini. I might want a mansion. So if I work hard for my money, I might want to use it for things that might make me, and this is what I mean, the American people, it's like this, it is this ideology that comes with our culture. I think the American person wants to use the money in the way they see fit. And there's a jealousy.
Right, that's not a problem, right? You can still spend money the way
I don't have. I want that, and so I think a lot of people don't want to give that up.
I got you, but you don't have to. That's the thing. Like you won't have to. They're not saying that when the idea under communism is not that everybody gets paid the same, is that there is no money. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to go get a Lamborghini and have a thrill ride, you can go to a Lamborghini and have a thrill ride. You just not gonna have to worry about choosing between paying rent and paying for a Lamborghini. You see what I'm saying? Because there is no rent. That makes sense?
So you're saying that I would get wages that could cover my
No, there are no wages.
So nobody gets any money, bro.
Yeah, there's no money, but all your there's no money at all. No money.
How will we afford to protect ourselves? How will we afford to protect our wealth and our means to like international warfare?
See, let me ask you this question. Have you ever seen Star Trek?
No, I'm not actually a Star Trek follower, my friend.
You're not a Star Trek follower. Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
But you know of it, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know how in that future society have space travel and replicators and all that good stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
You notice what they don't have in Star Trek?
What, money?
Money. There's no money.
You know I can't have this conversation with you if you go compare our nation to Star Trek.
No, I'm trying to because if you watched it, I would have told you that there is a society that can exist without money, right? We just don't know how to get there. That's what I'm saying. So the point that what I'm saying is that if you're a doctor, right, in this type of society that we want to live in, and you want to go drive a Lamborghini, you can go ahead and drive that Lamborghini. Like no one's gonna stop you. It's just that you don't have to worry about getting the money in order to do that. You can just go do it.
I would need you to flesh out like how people would be compensated for like
how you said wants to be over somebody else. So if we don't have if we live in a society where accumulating currency doesn't necessarily have to exist, and everybody needs are met, then let's try to aim for that type of society.
I know you have a very utopianistic ideology about what society could be, but I don't think it's possible. Like going back to realism, I just don't think that there's, due to racism, due to sexism, due to misogyny, I think that that's just something that won't be a possibility because there's people who want to hold what they have held for centuries. So it's just like, that's why I'm just like, some of these things I don't know we can do unless we humble ourselves and look to what these smaller countries are actually doing, because they do work in those smaller countries. But if we're America and we're the biggest and the baddest, then why can't we elevate that?
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. Like, I've always said, there's no reason we can't do universal health care. Like, none at all. The only reason that exists is that, the insurance companies want profit, and then people have Red Scare propaganda in their heads, thinking that if we have single payer, there's going to be lines around the corner for bread, and that just doesn't exist.
I hear you. And okay, American, I do like to fight for what's mine, and I like to be the best. I like to be like, I work for that, and now I'm at the top. So when it comes to like colleges, and when it comes to, like free college, like I agree. Like if I work to get to Harvard, I should be able to get to Harvard. Like I don't want to be like, I got straight A's, and now the guy that has C's gets to go to the same college as me. I need to have a certain ladder of what my performance is, because what it happens is I believe that you take away people's essence of free will and their ability to achieve their potential. There's like a purpose. Like a lot of people live life for purpose and what they achieve as success. So if we're going to generalize what success is, I just think that that's going to also have people go into maybe some type of, I think there's going to be a certain type of depression or different outlook on how their life really means to them.
Right. I think what's going to happen is that we're just going to, as a society, reimagine what success is, right? Because right now, as a society, we think that success is, we largely base it on monetarily, right? Like how much things we can accumulate. We basically our material needs, but we don't base it on like conditions. You know what I mean? Like, are you actually healthy? Are you mentally fit? Are you physically fit? These type of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you a nice person? Those type of things that we don't take that as traditional success. We take a big house, car, a couple of kids as success. You see what I'm saying? So like we could think of other ways on. I think if we move towards more what I'm trying to, like, the society that I want to see, we can reimagine what is actually success instead of the accumulation of material stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like more people need to be mature and hear your argument because, well, honestly, brother, I want you to say if you are talking about a communistic means or if you are actually talking about this existing capitalism.
I'm talking about social democracy, which is basically humane capitalism.
Okay, so when people say communism in the chat, I think that it's worth saying he's not saying communism. So like when you have your turn to speak,
literally is not.
Yeah, I think we need to like get off that point because it's creating like a rut in an important conversation. I think it'd be intellectual. I don't think this is communism.
I get a lot of fans.
That's what people say when they that's what people say when they don't want to engage in intellectual rigor. It's like anytime I'm like you make a point that someone disagrees with and that's far right and they call you a liberal.
Yeah, I got
very
you.
much gives that energy.
I got you. Yeah. I'm just like, because I think these things could still exist in a capitalist society. I'm fighting for capitalism.
They definitely
I think that our people, the average American, does need more rights, and we could do better in some of these things. However, I'll land my plane because I know that some people be after me. But I think that, there needs to be some benefit for people who have been fighting for what they want. There needs to be capitalism.
Yeah.
Blended. Stay on mute until you are.
You're promoting communism. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, Blended. If you come off on mute again, I'm just gonna go ahead and drop you, bro, because we're actually here to have a conversation, and you just can't scream communism all the time. All right, that doesn't make sense. All right, but Singer, I do appreciate you for being up here. You have a good one. All right, bro.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, y'all. I know that was a long conversation, but keep liking the live, keep sharing. I'm almost at 10K likes, so I'll go ahead and keep going to 10K likes. If you're watching me over on Facebook or Twitch, I appreciate you. If you're watching me over on YouTube, I appreciate you as well. Let's go ahead and get these likes up. Tom, I appreciate you for being patient. You have been there for a while. through all these conversations, Tom. All right, Tom, are you over 18, and do you disagree with anything I have on the board? You there, Tom?
Tom, are you going to come off mute? You were talking in the comment section not that long ago. You're not on mute. Is he not by the phone?
He might not be by the phone. I invite him to unmute.
Okay.
But while I wait for him, Orin, Tom, you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
There you go. Are you over 18, and do you disagree with something I have on the board?
I am 60, and I disagree with a lot of it. But I would like to point out the things that I do believe.
Sure.
I do believe there should be universal health care, but it can't be done, and not for the reasons of what you think. I went to school. I was a respiratory therapist. I worked in the healthcare field for a long time. The problem with the healthcare system is attorneys. People are over litigious, and it causes everything to have to go up. It causes absolute community hospitals to go under. It causes long-term money loss for entire communities. If we could get lawyers out of the healthcare business, then things would work better. I believe personally that we should have free electricity. I think we should have free water. Those things that are absolutely needed to keep your life going should be provided. But things like saying workplace democracy, politics don't belong at work. When you go to work, that's work. That's not hang out with your friends and talk about what we like the most. That's go to work. Number two, but there are some people that need to be away from other people. There are people that are dangerous to be around other people.
Okay. All right. So
the prison system.
All right. Cool. Let's
Sounds all
because
happy and good, but it's not. Good.
I got you. So we're at the point where we actually do have a disagreement. So, universal health care, right? You said the only reason why we can't do it is because of too many people are suing others. Like we're too sue happy in America. We gotta get the lawyers out the way. Is that right?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So if we you said you're just 60 right now. Have you already opened up your Medicare?
No.
You're gonna be able to do that when you're 62 or 65, correct?
Yes.
All righty. How would you feel if you can go ahead and just access it right now?
Why would I do that?
It's not just why. I'm just asking, like, if you could access it right now, would you mind?
No, I wouldn't mind at all.
All right, cool. How would you say about a system where everyone who's working can access Medicare? Is that okay?
I think that everybody that has a job should have insurance.
Right.
But I believe that, see, back in my younger days, when you worked a 40-hour week, your employer was obligated to have insurance for you that you could buy through the company that you worked for.
Right. I agree. My question is that since the moment that you're working, you're paying into Medicare right then and there, right? So would you mind a system where the moment that you start doing that, you're able to access your Medicare?
I think we should be able to access it if we need it.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
That's my idea for universal health care.
That's great.
Cool. So yeah, we can do that. We can do universal health care. Now, you said that the things that you did disagree with was guaranteed housing or workplace democracy.
Well,
actually, the prison.
That's just impossible.
Actually, you said the prison industry abolition. When people see that, they actually don't know what I'm talking about, or like, because it sounds inflammatory, right? But like, what I'm talking about is this middle right here, industry. Basically,
there has to be a management system that
right. I said it has to be a management system. What I'm against is people profiting off of prison labor, because all we're doing is encouraging slavery. That's really it.
Well, that's not true.
I think so, because the 13th Amendment even says
technically it's not untrue. If you look at it's even in our Constitution.
I waited a long time to have my speak. I would not like to speak to anyone but the guy that's running the live. Thank you. When
we can
you have the government jump in to take over the prison system, you're going to have pure corruption.
The government already runs the prison system.
No, it's not necessarily. Most prisons are state prisons run by those counties in states right there where they're at. It's not got nothing to do with federal, unless you go to federal prison.
Right. Okay. Well,
most of the counties, especially in the South, prisons are run by the county legislature.
Yeah, and they're horrible.
Well, that's the problem. But as far as getting rid of prison, can't be done.
I didn't say get rid of I didn't say get rid of prison. I said get rid of the industry.
The same thing with people that argue to defund the police.
All right, but Tom, listen to what I'm saying. I didn't say get rid of prisons altogether. I said get rid of the industry.
Well, somebody's got to feed these people. Somebody's got to put clothes on their backs.
No one is saying no. Hold on. When I say industry, I already said what I mean. People profiting from prison labor, like Whole Foods hiring prisoners on their farms.
Well, let me tell you something.
Even in our Constitution, the 13th Amendment, it says that slavery is abolished except for punishment as a crime. So when we have an industry built around prison labor, all we're doing is encouraging slavery for profit.
You do realize that people that are locked up 24 hours a day will stand in line to get out and volunteer to do anything.
That's fine, bro. I'm not saying that we don't have a system. I'm not saying that we don't have. I'm not saying that. Okay, so what does the 13th Amendment actually say? What does it say?
I don't have my thesaurus right here in front of me.
I got you. The 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment says that slavery is abolished in America except for punishment of a crime. So the moment that was passed, we couldn't have slaves anymore. But the imprisonment of black men skyrocketed right after that was passed. Why do you think that is?
Profiling.
Yeah. Michaela, what you saying?
By the way, could you put that on the backdrop? Is that possible?
No, I'm on my phone. Because TikTok for computer has been messing with me. But yeah, so when we go to when we look at how our prison industry actually works, it's essentially slavery. So like I want to actually end slavery and I want to get rid of our recidivism rates.
You relinquish those rights when you decide federal government.
So slavery is good.
Those rights until you have paid your penance.
Okay, so you're fine with slavery.
I was in the penitentiary for 7 years. I volunteered to go on the road crew. I
understand that, but are you okay with slavery?
Lines. It's not slavery.
All right, I understand your experience. What I'm saying is that your experience is not the majority experience. People are just forced to work for pennies an hour.
It's soft little people that can't stand being punished is the problem.
But
if you go to jail, you have lost your right to vote. You've lost your right to bear arms. You've lost your right.
We understand that you lost your right to be part of your society when you're in there. The question is, how are you treated while you're in there? Because this is essentially slavery.
Well, you're wrong.
It's in our Constitution that this is slavery, my friend.
Have you ever been locked up even for a day?
Yes.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
You want me to find my mugshot to show it to you? Yes, I have.
I don't need to see your mugshot. I don't need to see your mugshot.
All right, fine. But I've been locked up before. Yes, I have.
Okay. All right. All right. Abortion rights, there's no such thing. You don't have the right to end the life of anybody or anything.
Yeah, you do have the right over your own body. You do have the right to your own body.
It's not your own body when you decide to procreate.
Yeah, it is.
No,
it's still your own body. Yes, it is.
I got 27 grandchildren.
So
thank God no idiot ever decided to abort one of those children.
Good
They're
for you.
Children. They are people.
Good for you. Good for you. But a woman still has a right to her own body, and she should get to decide what happens inside of it.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes,
just because you say so, that makes it true. It's not true. There's no such thing as
just because
you kill.
Yeah, you do have a right to your own body. You saying that you don't have a right to your own body?
You don't have the right to do any such thing.
You don't have a right to your own body?
I have a right to my own body?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I can't have babies.
There you go.
If I had a baby in my stomach, I wouldn't try to end its life because I was irresponsible.
Great. That's good for you, friend. That's great for you. Even if we take your argument to its full extent, even if we take your argument to its full extent, someone still has a right to their own body.
Thou shalt not commit murder.
All right.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Yeah. So we're going ahead and we're done with that. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it going, keep it moving. All right. So we have.
I'm like, and that Volsi is why I'm anti-theist. One of the big reasons.
I already know. All right, y'all. I gotta go ahead and keep it moving because I have to go ahead and get out of here for tonight. All right, Oren Johnson, are you there?
Clearly, you didn't think anything, because a fetus, a clump of cells, is not a human being. It's not even sentient. So,
Exactly.
try again.
All right, so Oren Johnson, are you there?
Hey, first off, do y'all hear me well? I do have a faulty mic.
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit. All right,
Yeah,
so
I can hear you.
So are you over 18, and do you disagree with anything I have on the board?
I'm 25. I won't say it's a disagreement. It's just a question I want to make about number 9.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess you could say it is a disagreement, somewhat. So first off, I want to say I'm not really an expert. I don't really know too much about all the complexities behind it, but the reason why I disagree with reparations is because I believe nowadays we have a lot of resources and assets to actually help us build not just wealth in our communities, we probably just build individual wealth, whatever somebody's goal is. I say it like this. Let's say you're working at a bad job, right? And you know the job's not treating you well, and yada yada yada, and you feel like you're being victimized. So if you see the job's not treating you well, and you leave to get another job, how would you want to go back? And that's why I say I don't believe that reparation is. I mean, I'll say it's beneficial, but I don't think it's like overly needed. Because sorry, I'm not great at explaining things. Let me slow down a little bit.
Okay, so I think what you're missing is it's not about. It's about what is owed, right?
Yeah,
To Black Americans, there is a. If you look at there's a wealth gap between white families, and foundationally Black American families, and there is a reason for that. It is because for decades Black Americans were economically disenfranchised due to systematic racism. Also, when slavery initially ended, Black Americans were promised 40 acres and a mule. That was not given to Black Americans. But guess who did actually get reparations? The slave owners did. And those white families are still benefiting from that.
And you go.
Yes, also outside of that, we're also talking about Jim Crow, redlining, black codes, all of the things that have also Black maternal health deaths, police brutality. We're talking about everything from 1619 up until 2025.
Yeah,
that is what we're talking about.
I'm aware of that. I'm just talking about today's time, and like today's age. Because what I see, I live in the south side of Houston. I see a lot of things. I see a lot of people can afford expensive cars. They can afford some 84 elbow slabs, some expensive chains. So they could do all kinds of sort of other stuff. But we got to stop blaming other people and start using the assets and resources to start building ourselves instead of trying to make ourselves flashy.
Here's one thing I'm gonna point out already. You're kind of conflating two different things, right? There's a difference between individuals having money and a community overall having an economic base, which is what the African Americans were like. An economic base for African Americans was taken away from them from the beginning, right? So yeah, you can go to the South Side and see, hey, someone bought this new car, someone bought this new Jordans, but that says nothing about the 42 million African Americans out there in their material conditions, right? So sure, you can see there are people who do spend frivolously. But when we look at studies into how black people spend their money in America is mostly based on necessities, and disposable income is a lot less. What you're saying is just people who have a lot of disposable income and doing nothing with it, which is kind of a concern, right? We don't know how big that a problem, like, because you don't realize how big that a problem is, like, across the community. But when we look at it, when we look at the data on it, we see that black people do spend their money on the right places. That it's just that the disposable income is not as high as everybody else. So when we look, so if we're thinking about, will reparations help because Lamar and them put rims on their car, that's not really what we should be looking at. We should be looking at how it actually helps the community overall, not just this guy on the corner who got new Jordans on. That makes sense.
You know what's the greatest resource to build a community? Which is the individual. So let's say, let's take Jay-Z, for example, right? Yeah, we already know he's worth $2.5 billion, right? So when he decided to leave the lifestyle of rocking a whole bunch of chains and buying just unnecessary things, he utilized that wealth and put it into his community so that way he could find better jobs, or so that way he could bring more employment into the community. So that way, that way he could branch out to other people with a like mind as him. So that way they could start. So that way they could start a community to help bring better education to the black community where he's from. That's what I'm saying. Like, to raise a village, it does take a village. But all right, think of it as a game of chess. Um, so let's say you're a king, right? So you can't have a kingdom, you can't make a kingdom without people in the kingdom. So it takes one individual. What I'm trying to say, I'm not going to explain the things. I think you get what I'm trying to say there.
I'm kind of lost. So you're saying that because you said that it just takes an individual, right? Like someone who is wealthy and has a whole bunch of money can go ahead and help out the community. Is that what you're trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is, we just what I'm trying to say is that you was talking about economical issues or whatever. I think the way to fix it, I'm not going to explain anything.
Hold on, I just want to call Eric. Black people do not own and trade slaves, not in the way that y'all are talking about. Not definitely not in United States history. So stop it. Also, I'm like to the people who are talking about the Jewish community getting reparations. They already did by Germany. In fact, right after the Holocaust.
Right.
So
yeah. So Oren, right now I'm really not sure why you think reparations like either shouldn't be done or can't be or wouldn't help.
I didn't say it shouldn't be done. What I'm trying to say is we need to stop trying to rely on people that doesn't care about it.
I mean everybody agrees with that, but the reason why we're talking about reparations is because this is something that's owed to the community, right? So why shouldn't that be talked about? Like if like for example, if the government was responsible in breaking up the black community, why shouldn't they repair what they've broken?
Well, what I'm trying to say is, if a homeless person is hungry and they keep knocking the door and nobody gives them food, well, why do you keep going over there asking politely when you already know the best thing to do? It's like
that's not the argument.
Can I speak?
That's not the argument, though.
I'm trying to explain the reason why. I'm trying to explain my reason for it. I'm not trying to be all statistically and all this stuff. I'm just speaking from my assertion and my logic. That's all I'm trying to say.
Right, I understand, Oren, but have you actually looked into like any research behind this and what exactly would it do and how it helps?
I did mention that. I didn't really do too much research on it. I'm just saying what I think. I'm not trying to be all political and statistical.
Right. No, it's all good. Like I know this is what you think, but what I'm saying is that a lot of this comes from a very uninformed position, right? Because when we talk about when money's in black people's hands, if it's going to be spent frivolously, we see through the research that it's not, despite what could be around the corner from you. Largely, black people don't spend our money frivolously, so why would reparations then be a problem? Because we're not going to be spending it frivolously. It's going to actually go into the community and do do good things with it, right? And because we spend a lot of our money servicing poverty and servicing debt, we can use that money instead to lift the whole community up. And when that whole community is up, that's better for everybody else because it's gonna go back into the economy, right?
If I'm being real, I don't think it's ever gonna happen because we've been begging, protesting, all kinds of stuff for many years. We still don't see the change that I guess many of people that's African American that we don't see the change that they want. So that's what I'm just saying. Like, if we keep knocking on the door and nobody answers, what's the point of try the new way instead of like trying the old way? That's basically what I'm trying to say. Is just stop relying on other people because they owe you. They don't want to pay you. They're not going to pay you. Just find a different way. Be creative with it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so it's basically just stop seeking reparations in the first place. Just go ahead and move on and try to do something else.
Try to be creative. If the old way's not working, let's try something new with the new generation.
I mean, what does that mean, though?
Well, our ancestors. If you go back in the day and talk to our ancestors, they'll probably be proud of us for the position we're kind of in right now. They'll be telling you, "Hey, go get that money. Go use your mind. Go do something different. Go start new assets. Go start new colleges." Instead of doing the same mistake that I won't say. I won't say that because they didn't make no mistake. They just in position. They were just in. They just wasn't in a good position. But we're actually in a position where we could do something with ourselves. And that's what I'm saying. It just takes one person to help a whole community.
I mean, like the thing is like the thing is, bro, like we largely already do that, but we're dealing with a community that was also like systemically kept deliberately poor, right? And your environment is going to affect like exactly what you do. And this isn't just only for black people. Any community around the world that you see was systemically discriminated against in their society, they all have the same type of issues that black people have, right? So this is really more of like let's rectify what actually broke the community. So like, why not?
But my quick question is, since you said it's going on in other communities, then why are we keep bringing about they got the Holocaust, they got reparation, yada yada, they got reparation. Let's not focus on them. Let's just focus on us. Let's try something new. That's all I'm saying.
All right, when you say try something new, what exactly do you mean?
I don't know. I don't have the answer. Like I said, I'm not statistical. I'm not all that. I'm just trying to live my life. And when I have the answers, I'm gonna help as many people as I can. And I think that's what we got to do as people. Stop begging and let's try to find something new. If they owe us, if they don't want to pay us,
I have an issue with the idea that black people are begging. No, black people are asking for what is rightfully owed. No one's begging for anything.
I didn't say we were begging. I'm just saying we keep asking and they don't want to give what they owe. So let's just try something new.
All right, it's just that when you say something as vague as "let's just try something new," and then I ask you what does that mean, that you don't even know, like what do we even do with that?
I don't know. Do you?
Right, but what exactly do? What I'm saying is that what exactly do we do with that, and what does that have to do with reparations? Like you agree that reparations is the right thing to do, right? You just don't think that they're gonna do it for us.
They're not going to do it for us. Let's be real. We've been asking for like so many years. Okay. Why would they do it now? So if we know they're not going to do it for us, let's try to find something new to better ourselves.
So find something new to better ourselves. So you're saying that anytime, so when a government does something wrong, they shouldn't fix it then, or they don't fix it, you just move on and say whatever.
The government's not for us. You know what the government was established for, right?
All right, cool. So, like, what's next then? We should just give up on reparations, and then what's next?
Let's start our own. All right, you talking about a utopia, right? A utopia society you want to build. Let's start our own society. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm saying what I think.
All right, cool. Not a problem. All right.
Yeah, I'm like, I think you need to do a lot more research before coming into the conversation.
All right, Trump facts. I don't know if you're still there, but Tyson Jamal, you there?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm all right. Give me 1 second. Ramirez,
hold
are
on,
you there?
Eric. Hold on. I just want to address a comment. Eric, who said education was racist in the comments?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
I have no idea, because he had said someone said
Yeah, I don't see what he's talking about because I don't like talking to the comments.
Yeah, because I looked up. I don't see anything.
Yeah, neither. All right. I think Trump
Okay, I
facts
don't
left.
agree with that.
Yeah, I think Trump facts left.
It,
All right.
and like, to the
Tyson, you
person
there?
that said that,
Yeah, I'm here.
to the person that said that, do you want to come up and share your point of view? Because I don't agree
They
with
never
that
come up.
at all. Yeah.
All right, not a problem. All right, Tyson, you're probably gonna be my last guest for tonight. All right, Tyson, are you over 18, and do you disagree with anything I have on the board?
Yes, I'm over 18. I wanted to know your view on free college.
Free college is something that we've actually done before within this country. Essentially, this will be paired with other things that I want to do with education, but free college is essentially, I would say, it will go basically on a like how they do in Sweden, like a voucher system, where you get a certain funding for yourselves, room and board and all that for your college degree, and if you don't go, you don't get that money. But we can do that for like college used to be funded like fully, right before Reagan didn't like the Black Panthers going there, so he basically took away the funding for those schools. So when it comes to free college, I think we can actually afford free 2 or 3 years in for college students.
So you're saying the college in Sweden is free?
I was pay for that by taxes, of course, and it's a whole voucher system.
Yeah, that's the problem, is the taxes. So if college was going to be free, who's going to be paying for it?
Yeah, we are taxes.
So isn't it technically not free?
Yeah, I mean, like, for example, when you went to go drive this morning, right? Did you have to go pay a toll?
Oh yeah, if I was like gonna travel to New York City, I'd have to pay a toll. Like you mean like that?
Right. I understand in New York City, right, to get into the bridge, to get on the Brooklyn Bridge or whatever, there's gonna be a toll you're gonna have to pay. But what I'm saying is that when you got into your car and drove out the house, was to get into the street, was there actually a toll there you had to pay?
Oh no, there wasn't.
Right. So technically, we're paying for our road through taxes, right? But we always say the road is free because like you don't pay anything at the point of service. That's the issue with free college. You just go there and sign up, just like how elementary schools are.
Well, yeah, but if all of a sudden we implemented that, we would still see the drastic effect of how higher taxes would increase by.
Not necessarily, because again, I said that free college will be paired with something else. Like in high school, I think if we had a system of our high school where every student graduates with some sort of trade, then we'll have more young people going into the workforce than going to a college they don't necessarily need to go to. So that will make the cost, that will make the enrollment in college, it'll make it a little lower, but it'll also be for people who actually need to drop down, and then we'll be able to fund it. Right?
Wait, can you reiterate that one point of the high school thing? I think I was catching on to what you were saying.
Gotcha. Every high school graduate with some sort of trade, so that means that there's young people just going straight into the workforce out of high school instead of going into higher education. That they don't need to be there because we have a 40% dropout rate in college, right? There's a lot of people who are there that don't need to be there. So we have more people going to the workforce first, then free college becomes more of a possibility, right?
So are you saying like we should like learn more like real world stuff in high school?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm understanding your point of view, but even if people did go to college, I feel like many people would still not really use that opportunity wisely, and I feel like the quality of education at colleges could go down drastically because of how much people are going to a certain college. And I feel like a degree in general would be worth less because, like, there wouldn't really be such thing as an Ivy League if all the colleges were free.
Oh, no, I mean, not necessarily. Like, for example, there's a difference between the public system and the private systems, right? Like the Ivy League are all private schools, and there's a reason why they're set up the way they're set up. So the Ivy Leagues will still be something prestigious, right? You can still have that, but then it's something that we have.
But won't they be free?
No, you don't have to make those free because those are public. You don't have to nationalize Harvard in order to have free college. We could just be paying for all the state colleges.
Okay. I see what you're saying. All right. That's all I was asking.
So you got all right, not a problem. I appreciate you being up, Tyson.
Yep.
Have a good night. All right, guys. I appreciate everybody who's here. I'm going to go ahead and stay around just for a little bit. I'll see if anyone else wants to jump up and speak to me. Let me just say that I appreciate everyone who was watching me on Twitch and on YouTube. I appreciate you all watching me there. I didn't see y'all comments because, again, I don't talk to the comments. It's because I'm sitting all the way back here. I know I got these big bifocals on, but I can't see all the comments. They're really tiny. But I don't typically talk to the comments. Anyone who's been disagreeing with me, go ahead and come on up. Eric, I see earlier you said that I have 9 things up here, but no way on how to do them. I actually do. So if you want to come up and talk about that, we definitely could. Jayla, how's it going, Jayla? How you been doing, Jayla? Jayla, I miss, me, you, and K-Dot doing our lives, man. We had a grand old time with these lives, and we don't do them anymore. I need to figure out you and K-Dot's schedule so we can go ahead and start doing these again. Because I miss the lives we used to do, for real. Yeah, we definitely need to repeat, Jayla. We definitely repeat. Yeah, Eric, go ahead and come on up. Because I can't send you a request, so go ahead and press the request button. Yeah, Jayla, we need to repeat. We need to go ahead and do it again. But I don't know K-Dot's schedule anymore. I know he's gotten hella busy. He got promoted and then he couldn't go live as much anymore. Oh, you got crying, baby. No problem. Yeah, no problem, Eric. No problem. All right, ding dong over on my my YouTube chat. Yeah, figure out when we're gonna set up a TikTok so you can get on my panels. Soon though, I'm going to figure out how to connect everything I have here, like being on my phone and the audio for my StreamYard and all that. I'm gonna figure all that out. All right, reparations for what? You are not a slave. Reparations will be for more than just slavery. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and talk about them. I'm gonna go ahead and invite you up. Oh, you don't get invites. Why would there need to be abortion rights? Be responsible and don't have kids you can't afford. Yeah, exactly. So abortion rights. All right, John Castle, go ahead and come on up and let me know why you think I don't have a job. John Castle, you still there? I went ahead and invited you up. Let me know why you think I don't have a job. All right, Tiberius, you can come on up as well. Oh, I can't invite you up. That sucks. Can't invite you up, Tiberius. So go ahead and hit that request button and let me know why you think so. Okay, Marcus, I don't understand what you're asking me, so I'm gonna go ahead and invite you up and get clarification. Yeah, ding dong. There should I agree with that. There should be a that can link all the comments together. But right now I have to get hardware. I have to get I forgot what it's called, but it's some audio hardware where you'll be able to hear the audio from my phone into the StreamYard and stuff like that. It's very complicated, but I already have a setup for it. I just got to buy the hardware and then I'll be able to stream TikTok from my phone and have it on all the other platforms where I could take guests and everyone hears each other. Yeah, it's called Video Ninja, but since I'm streaming on my phone, Video Ninja's on my computer. You're not gonna hear each other. You know what I mean? So I need to link the audio between my computer and my phone. Therefore, everybody's gonna hear each other. All right, I don't think I have any more guests. Everyone is either too afraid to come up and speak, or they left. And I don't know why. I'm a very nice guy to speak to. Hey, Tiberius, why don't you come on up? Because you've had a lot to say in the comments, but you won't actually request up. Yeah, and I can't invite you either. So why don't you just come on up, Tiberius, so we could talk about it. Well, it looks like Tiberius is not gonna join up because he's too afraid. Neither is John Castle because they're too afraid. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate everyone who came through. Y'all go ahead, and this is gonna be the last of my politics weeks. Have you ever had universal health care? Well, I live in the United States, so I've never had it. So this is going to be the end of my politics weeks. Next week is going to be religion. And okay, well, that's the wrong one. All right, y'all. So next week is going to be my religion week, and we're going to be talking about this, all right? Next week is going to be my religion week, and we are going to be talking about this. And we're going to go ahead and have that conversation. I don't believe you, Hoto. Is that your name? Hoto Zio? Yeah, I don't believe you because there are plenty of countries that have universal health care and they don't have the problems that America has. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, but this is going to be the topic for next week. Go ahead and join me then. I appreciate y'all.